It's on.
Okay, so next we're going to go into the ideal response. So now we're no longer in the proactive stage. Now we're having to respond to the child because now they're starting to escalate in their behaviors. It could be small behaviors, it could be big behaviors. And we're going to kind of take it apart step by step to kind of see what kinds of things we'll need to do. So for the ideal response overall, regardless of what action we take, what response we give to the kids, we always want to stay connected. So this is our end result. This is what we still want it to look like. We want to be connected. We want to make sure we're still content. The child is content. We're content. And that we see some changed behavior. And so this is what we're going to focus on as we're going through the ideal response. So the first one is immediate. So I stands for immediate. And you can follow along on page 16 in your book. It should also have the information there. But immediate, as you can see, should be within 3 seconds. Because we know that if we're going to have to correct behavior, learning can only occur if we're responding to it immediately. So if we try to say, oh, later on we're going to address this, or when we get home, or we try to do, when Dad gets here, or I'm going to call so-and-so, that's just not going to work. And so even in our facilities, I've often heard this from some of our staff. So for example, at KCI, I have heard, and I know it's still happening, where staff will say to the kids, if they don't behave, Mr. John's going to come. Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard something like that at the cottage, because I know, I'm not going to say his name, but I know one of the little girls with the other little boy was telling him that if he was behaving, I would have taken to him and said, yeah, because he's scared of him.
So the other child said it to them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, I never said that, so don't believe him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So they'll kind of use that. And so it sets us up on the wrong path. It sets you up on the wrong path because it takes the authority away from you. And then that person, whether they want to or not, they become this policeman in a sense.
I've heard that when Mr. John is there, it's all under control, and if he's not there, it's just chaos. I don't know, I haven't worked that shift, but that's what I've heard.
Right. Well, I've seen it, and that's not always the case, but I do hear it used. And so what we know is if Mr. John or Mr. Javier were to actually come later on, we're not actually going to get any change in behavior because it's pretty much gone. With our kids, they have trouble processing just regular information. They're no longer going to even remember what they did wrong. They're not going to be able to associate it. So if we want to correct behavior, we have to do it immediately, preferably within 3 seconds. D in the ideal response stands for direct. So we want to stay engaged and connected. And we want to make sure we're on the child's level. So at this point, we're going to kind of observe what they are doing. So if the child's sitting down and I'm going to approach them, then I'm probably going to sit down as well. If I were to approach a child and just hover over them, how might they feel about that? Scared, intimidated? Yeah. Do they feel like it's a confrontation? Yeah, pretty much so. So if I'm on their level and I just sit down and they're sitting and we start making eye contact, how might that conversation look like?
Better.
Much better. Safer, right? So we want to go ahead and engage them, be direct, go ahead and start addressing it, maintain our eye contact, and get on their level. And then E stands for efficient. So we only use the amount of force necessary when we're trying to think of our response. seen someone, maybe a child does something and someone just kind of blows up at them? Right? How does the child respond to that? Do they take it well? No? What do? They start backing down, maybe? What else?
Right?
They cry. It can be scary. Right? So we only use the amount of force necessary.